The Lubbock Matadors are all about partnering with local businesses and investing in the community.
Being a local business, it was really important to us, not only to support Dustin and his family, but the Matador Soccer Club.
Welcome into the Lubbock Matadors Coaches Show presented by Mears Mazda. Today's Coaches Show is sponsored by Mears Mazda Volvo. Lubbock locally owned luxury dealership. At Mears, you'll find the best inventory, the best process, and the best prices. Since 1971, our focus is to provide our clients with an exceptional buying experience. As always, we open with the head coach of the Lubbock Matadors, Paul Gilbert. Coach, one playoff win under your belt now. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it felt really good. It was a really good experience to kind of make that jump into the playoffs, and man, the atmosphere was incredible, and I'm glad we were able to kind of put on a bit of a show and get a good result.
Speaking of the show, did you expect the dominating 6-0 experience there against San Antonio?
I don't know who I was telling this. I feel like sometimes these players are spoiling us a little bit because we're scoring a ton of goals, we're not giving up a ton of goals, and so. Do I expect great performances from our players? Yes, I do. I think they're very talented and they're focused on the task at hand. Do I expect to score 6 goals every time? No, probably not. So, but that's what came about, and obviously we're super fortunate to be able to do that in front of our home fans, and glad we could step up to the moment.
The home fans, speaking of, another huge crowd. How is that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, wow, can't say enough. On a Tuesday night, 5,400 people, a record for us here at the Matadors, and it's been really cool to see the momentum that we kind of took from last season into this season, and the awareness of the club is growing, and not just the amount of fans, but the way they're interacting during the game is growing, and they're really into the match. It's just been incredible. And so for us, it's been an unbelievable season, and we're super thankful for all the support we've gotten so far.
That's an interesting point. Do you feel like the Matador crowd, the fans, are learning soccer maybe? Learning football?
Yeah, I mean, I think with each game day experience, there's a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more wisdom of not just a match in general, but of our team and of certain players and what certain players do. And, I start to hear their names being called out in the stands behind us. And that's really cool to see that it's not just a number on the back of a uniform, but they're associating people with that. And it's been pretty cool to see throughout the season.
So last week we talked about controlling the game but not having those opportunities cash in. How gratifying was it to have a night where it felt like, especially in the second half, every opportunity you had, you cashed in on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it took us a little while in the first half to kind of figure out how they were set up. They set up in a formation that we really hadn't seen before. So for us, about 25, 30 minutes of feeling them out and kind of trying to figure out where we wanted to get guys at on the field. And then once we had a firm grasp of that, it was only a matter of time before we scored and continued to score. And so for me, yeah, it's just a matter of, can we see what's happening, make the proper adjustments, and then go execute our actions. And I thought the guys did a great job of that.
So after the game, do you have a 24-hour rule or a set amount of time you enjoy a game before you move on, or is it pretty much an immediate move on since it's the playoffs?
Not really. Earlier this year, I saw a tweet from one of the other coaches in the league, and he was talking about how, they had just lost, I think, a tough game on the road, and it was probably 1 or 2 a.m. when they got home. And it was a picture of him watching the game back. And I replied to it, and I was like, you're not the only crazy person, because for us, Coach Yuri and I were in the same apartment, and we go get some food, and then we immediately go and watch film. And for us, it's just really important that we don't take an emotional response from the match to assess exactly what happened. So the earlier that we can get to see the film, the earlier we can put our emotions aside and really be objective about where we were at and how we did or didn't do and things we need to change. So for us, there's not a whole lot of celebrating. There never has been. The only thing that bothers me is when the hotel doesn't have Wi-Fi. That's good enough. Then I can't sleep at all because I don't get to watch it. But for the most part, that's kind of how we go about things.
All right, so looking to the future now, we'll have to look to the past to look to the future here.
Okay.
You open the season against Brownsville.
Yeah.
That's who you play next tomorrow on Saturday. You play them to close the Lone Star Conference Chapter of the Year. How has your team changed since that 2-1 victory?
Yeah, I mean, I was just speaking about this a couple days ago. I mean, we have the same identity and the same game model and principles, but when you look at our team from that game, we're a very, very different team. So you look at a guy like Luke Jones, who you'll talk to in a second. He didn't even play until the last maybe 10 minutes of that game. And then you look at obviously Marcus Krogstad had a big part in that game, and he's out. So Ethan, I think, had just gotten here and maybe was on the bench for that game. But there's a lot of pieces that have been moving around. But most importantly, when we go back and watch that game, we don't see anything like the team that we see now, solely because we had trained like 4 times before that game. And I think after that game, when we beat Brownsville, I knew that they would be a top team in the league, and I knew that result would be really important. How important, I wasn't quite sure, and so that gives me a lot of confidence that, we were able to have 4 or 5 sessions, get a result, and we've obviously gotten better as a group throughout the year. So yeah, it'll be a very different game, I would assume.
In that first game, you score in the 25th minute, take a lead. They score early in the second half. You get it right back with a penalty kick. You said it's going to be a different game. How so?
Yeah, I think we're just so much better in our attacking play now than we were at that game. I think defensively we've been pretty steady Eddie throughout the whole year. That game allowed us to fix some things with our shape defensively, but for the most part we've been the same. I think the goal we gave up was a mistake that because they scored straight off a corner kick, and we've obviously fixed that. And so for us, I think our group is much different in the attack solely because we've been able to train and develop our identity and spaces we want to get into and things like that.
We'll have to ask Luke Jones because I believe he had a moment at the end of that game.
Yeah,
that we'll talk about.
Solid moment.
Yeah. I think he missed the last couple of minutes of that.
I don't think I've ever seen 2 yellow cards for time wasting
to
the same person who's been in the game for 5 minutes.
So we'll have to talk about that.
Unbelievable.
Another thing I remember about that game is Brownsville was really rough off the ball.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that now, knowing their style and physicality on the field?
Yeah, I mean that's been part of their identity throughout since I've been in the league. I think there's a lot of chippiness off the ball. I think they do a lot of things that don't belong in football, and whether that's with their words or their actions. And hopefully we'll have an official that will take control of that from the beginning. Obviously, that'll be something we talk to our guys about, but everyone in the league deals with that. And so my hope is that it's a fair and good football match where people compete within the rules of the game and nothing else happens.
So this is something I ask you every week, but what do you think will be the deciding factor in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams have some pretty good attacking players. I really think it's going to come down to who takes their chances the best and who can kind of just impose themselves on the game with the ball. So for us, we've been able to do that in most games ever since the Brownsville game, so hopefully we can do that again.
For the Matadors specifically, how important would it be to win the Lone Star regular season and the Lone Star kind of playoff section as a second-year team?
That's a tough one. I think what we've done this year has been incredible. I think nothing from here on out can change the impact that we've had off the field, which I'm really proud of. The fact that we've had over 250 kids at camps, all the different community service things, community events that we've done, all the interaction the players have with people outside of the club. I think that's something we should be really proud of. I think the fact that we've been able to put a really good product on the field and we've been very successful in winning games is something we should be proud of as well. I said before the season our goal was to make the playoffs, and we not only made the playoffs, we won the league with 2 games left to go. Then we won El Dustico. Then we won a first-round game. So for me, the narrative around this season is massive success, overachieved in all areas. And I don't think one game changes that. However, these guys came back with the first goal to win the league, and the second goal was to win the playoffs. And so that's what we're here to do, and that's what we want to do. So, yes, that is super important, but when we look back and reflect, I don't think that will be the ultimate prize. I think we will look at the totality of the season and say, man, that was a massive success.
So you talk about the team experience and for the Matadors, the off-field success and the on-field success. But what about you personally? What are some of your favorite memories and thoughts from this season as a whole?
Personally, I think I've talked about this before. You know, Coach Erie and I started building something here in Lubbock, and we were this close to seeing that to completion, and we felt like it got cut short. And so we had already started the Matador project, and to see the success in year 2 has been just incredibly gratifying, and the two of us couldn't be happier for the foundation that we've built here and what we've started. As far as particular things throughout the year, I think it's just growth. It's just growth in each individual player. I mean, when you talk to Luke Jones here in a few minutes, like, he's just one example of a person who has grown significantly from their time with the Matadors. And I've seen it in each player through conflict, through tough conversations, through celebration, through positives. All of it has built up these guys to be better people, to be better footballers, and that's what I lay my head down at night, and I'm thankful that those guys have that experience of being challenged and growing as people.
Do you have any accomplishments on the field that stand out? No,
I tell you what, I can't stop thinking about the 2 goals we scored against Denton Diablos at the end of the second half. I mean, when you've and Coach Uri and I, we work hand in hand with this. When we started developing this style of play that's very different from everybody, you have these pictures in your head of what it's supposed to look like, and when you see them come out on the field, it's just so gratifying. It's like, oh man, it's a masterpiece that hopefully you and the players have worked together to build. And so I think after that game, we sat back, and when we watched the film, we just said, oh man, there it is. Like, that's what we've been working for. That's all the film and the trainings that you put together that take you 2 hours to put training together that no one knows about. That was special. And then obviously El Dustico was really special to have a group that has a disappointment in terms of the home game here where we lost in the 98th minute, and then to come back and take the trophy home was really special.
All right, get an ad read in here real quick. Howdy Homemade Ice Cream is on a relentless pursuit to create jobs for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities through the power of smiles and amazing ice cream. Come check out our newest Matador-inspired flavor at every home game or in the West End Shopping Center. All right, any final words this week to the Matador faithful?
Yeah, I think this is an amazing opportunity on Saturday for us and for the Lubbock community because not only do we win a championship and we get a trophy, but we also get to host the next 2 games, which is spectacular. And I think if you had asked me if that was going to happen at the beginning of the year, I would have said no way. But so thankful for everyone's support. So thankful for the warm messages that we've received. And the last request I have is they release the nominations for the conference best 11 today on the NPSL website. If you got a quick second, just please go on and vote. It's under the Lone Star Conference tab, and you can literally just vote for the 4 Matadors and hit submit, and that's it. Obviously, we should have a lot more than 4 guys nominated. There's no doubt about that. But some things are out of our control, and so we had 4. And please, please, please go vote because those guys deserve it. And if you consider a vote for me, a vote for Yuri and Braxton as well, because we're a staff in this together.
It would seem likely that a conference champion, nearly undefeated, would have more than 4, but I understand that. And that's NPSL.com?
Yep. So
NPSL.com. All right, speaking of greatness, for locally owned hometown service, look no further than the Matador sponsor, Grease Monkey and Monkey Splash of Lubbock. Stop by and take care of your automotive needs today. Thanks for joining, Coach. Appreciate you as always.
no problem.
Thanks for joining us on the Lubbock Matadors Coaches Show, presented by Mears Mazda. We'll be back with Luke Jones next. But first, streaming for today's Coaches Show is brought to you by Mears Mazda Volvo, Lubbock's locally owned luxury dealership since 1971. Our focus is on our clients. We want them to enjoy their experience and find a vehicle that is right for them and ultimately be glad they came to Mears. We'll be right back with more on the Lubbock Matadors Coaches Show after this.
The Lubbock Matadors are all about partnering with local businesses and investing in the community.
Being a local business, it was really important to us, not only to support Dustin and his family, the Matador Soccer Club.
Three, two, one, ready, set, go. Ready, set, go, set, go. Ready, set, go. Three, two, one, ready, set, go.
Check it out.
Introducing the new and improved taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar. Now more delicious. Zero never tasted so good. Try it now.
Welcome back into the Coaches Show. Two-time appearance here from Luke Jones. Luke, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm very happy to be back, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's not me. I would take you every week, man. I enjoy talking to you. So, Lubbock Matadors, we've talked about how you got here, but just remind the people where you're from, how you know Coach Gilbert, and who you are.
Mm-hmm. So I'm from Coventry, England. I came over to the States in 2019. I've been at Indiana Tech since. So Coach Gilbert, he's been at Indiana Tech since last year, and he's gave me the great opportunity to come back here this year. So I was a part of the roster last year as well. And since last year, the one thing I wanted to do was to come back, and luckily I've had that opportunity. So here I am. Also,
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you came on after the 7-1 victory. So what was the final score of that one? You scored a bunch of goals. 7-1? Yeah. So every time you win by 6, you're on the show.
Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. The Matadors win by 6, Luke Jones is on the show.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that. That's the math there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I thought I was right. So 6 goals wins in the playoffs. How special for that was you and your team?
I mean, yeah, to score 6 goals, let alone win by 6 goals, you don't really see that a lot, even in the professional game. So even to score 6 chances and for the strikers to finish those chances going into the final, there's a lot of confidence, and hopefully they can carry that on into the final as well.
Something I've seen from you this year, whether it's off the bench or starting, is your leadership. It feels like on the field. Do you take pride in that you're kind of a coach on the field?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I was here last year, so laying the foundations, and for me, I class myself as an older player, so just to give back to the younger teammates to help them develop, I feel like that's a priority for me more than individually myself. So I take a lot of pride in that, and same at Indiana Tech as well. So I've seen that adjustment in myself as well.
Do you feel like you've grown this year, being in Lubbock this summer?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm playing the best football, probably starting from the spring as well. So we want to give credit to coach setting that environment, setting that culture to allow players like me to really strive. So hats off to Gilbert for setting that culture. And again, I'm really happy to be playing, scoring. If it is coming off the bench, just having that influence, I'm really happy.
Do you like coming off the bench? And I know everybody wants to start, but getting to see the game from the sideline, getting that opportunity to see how it's playing out?
When coach will say, "Oh, you're on the bench," of course I'm gonna respect that decision. But in my head, I am fuming. I'm really disappointed. But obviously on the outside, like I know, I respect that decision. And even if I do come on, I do feel confident that I will make a difference to the game as well. So as a player, there is always going to be that disappointment. But looking at the bigger picture, yeah.
So looking ahead here, playing Brownsville again for the second time. We alluded to it earlier, but you did get the red card in the first match. Do you feel like you need to play differently or just react in the same way and hope the officials don't go crazy for 5 minutes when you're in the game?
I mean, I came on with 10, 15 minutes to go. It was a very close game. I wanted to slow the game down because they're a very chippy team. They did react a lot when I did slow the game down. So to get reactions like that from the other team, for them to start fouling, and me personally, I don't think I was deserved of the red card, but maybe I did take it a step far. But just to see them get more agitated, for them to give up more passes from me slowing the game down, and you see that when all good teams are winning, to slow the game down, it really does kill the game and make it extra difficult for the opposition. So again, you can kind of say that leadership, just slowing the game down, changing the game, but potentially maybe I did take it. If you ask coach, I took it a step too far and got the red card, but I mean, we won the game, so that's the bigger picture for me.
When you see another team on the other side of the field getting chippy and getting agitated, do you feel like you are controlling the game mentally?
Really depends, because each individual reacts differently. There could be a certain player that goes out to hurt someone, so everyone does react differently. But I always look at the scoreboard and you see we're up by 1 goal. That's what gives me the strength to not react.
How do you plan to go into the game knowing that they're going to be aggressive physically and, chippy as well?
I don't really take too much into that, but it's a final, so all the hard work done, all the 10 wins can mean nothing if we don't win essentially tomorrow. So that's all I'm thinking about, more of the beauty of just playing 90 minutes, and in that time 2 months of hard work can be changed just by the 90 minutes essentially. So not really too focused on the other team. We've already beaten once at the start of the season where we weren't necessarily had the same chemistry and the same culture, or well, not culture, but the same tactics, stuff like this, the flow of play that we do right now. So I'm more concerned about ourselves, and if we do our job properly, then I'm not too concerned who we play.
Speaking of the chemistry, it does feel like you guys are close friends, maybe even, I would say.
Of course.
How has this summer been just off the field? Because we don't really get an idea of what you guys are doing besides training and playing soccer. and then doing all the camps and the stuff. Do you guys hang out?
Yep.
Are y'all living close together? How does that work?
So we go for food every day with we go to sponsors to have food. So every day we are sat together, and it's really nice to sit outside the training environment just to have a bit more of a relaxed, more social time with each other. And at Centre Suites, like, we're always together at the pool, playing pool, just enjoying, which is really nice. We don't have too much on necessarily compared to what we do at college, so there's a lot of downtime, and me personally, I do like to spend it with the team, and you can see on the pitch that we're so close together. We'll fight for each and one another, and that's really been from spending all that time together, making really good relationships.
Who's been your roommate this summer?
Ville, the
You
masked man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The masked man.
Yeah.
That's great. How's that been? Do you feel like you've gotten close with him?
Oh yeah, of course. Like, we played against his college in the spring. Didn't really know him, but now I'd say he's a friend for life, and like all the boys here on the team, friends for life. Just amazing people, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're successful as a team, because we keep setting ourselves new standards to be better and better.
So focusing back on the field, what are some of your memories from this season that you can look back on and A, be proud of, but B, kind of see as an accomplishment?
I think the 10 wins, just hitting that milestone, amazing. And then some of the goals we scored, not necessarily me scoring or getting the assist, but we've been working these patterns of play or these ideas of play. And like Coach was saying, you have that thought when you're in sleep or thinking about the game. You have these pictures of scoring these great goals of how we want to play, and then actually scoring these goals. That's so rewarding. All that hard work for it to come off exactly the way we want. I mean, it's great.
Do you have a favorite goal and a favorite assist that you've had this year, personally?
My favourite goal was against San Antonio. I shanked it with my right shin, and it was probably like 1 in 100 that it goes in, but like before it goes in, I'm like celebrating because it was such a jammy strike. Like, I hit it the least clean I've ever strike the ball in my life, but yeah, it went in. And then San Antonio was obviously a very tough opponent as well. And then probably assists. I feel like I've had quite a few good assists, just probably to Ethan a couple times, just playing the ball in behind just for him to have a tap in or one-on-one, like just to make his work to score really easy. That's what I take pride in.
So you guys have been stacking trophies, the regular season championship, El Dustico, another opportunity for a trophy this weekend. How important is that success to build on success?
I mean, just laying the foundations, and each one of us are hungry to go to the next level. I think even if we win or lose, the reflection of what Coach was saying will start to happen after. But whilst we still have the opportunity to play, each one of us are thinking about winning.
So year 2 in Lubbock, year 2 at the Matadors. Again, you have that success, regular season, Lone Star Championship. How important is it for the community that you guys have had this success in year 2?
I think the community is the most important thing that we've done as a soccer club, more than the winning and losing. Just the engagement that we've had and the influences off the pitch, I feel like that's more special than any 90 minutes of performance. So hopefully, again, moving forward, that stays as the focus of this football club, because I've met some amazing people here, like the Mozos, the fans. Just as Coach was saying, people know me personally, like getting to connect with these different people and them coming out and seeing their smiles and enjoyment when we do win after the game and when we're singing. Like, that's memories for life. That's the best feeling.
Have you led a chant after the game yet?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you lead?
We love you, that one. That's my favorite one.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other favorites from the Mozos chants?
The Mitar one that they did, I don't know the words off by heart, but that was sang at the last game, and Mitar was loving it. And
yeah,
everyone was. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He seems like the kind of guy that would love a chant for his name.
Yeah, he embraced it
in a positive way.
In a positive way.
You think of the Pablo chants, the Sammy Gomez chants.
Mm-hmm.
If you could have a Luke Jones chant, What would it be?
I don't know. There's a Bolton Wanderers song. It says, "We're the Wanderers." It's kind of, I don't know what the original song is, but just that song is very catchy to me. So maybe if the Mozos made a little twist, I might have to send them a message and give them some ideas. That would be good for Saturday.
That would be awesome. All right. Year 1, success for you personally. Year 2, success. Is there going to be a year 3 for Luke Jones with the Lubbock Matadors?
See, this is the thing. I have I have 2 semesters left of college, and for me, I'm getting to an age where I've got to start working. So in a perfect reality, of course, I would love to play until I can't walk, but it comes to a point where is football gonna pay the bills, essentially? So these are questions that I'm gonna have to look at soon, but I would love to come back, of course, next year. It's the best 2 summers of my life, and to potentially have a 3rd summer where it's great, I can't say no to that.
Alliance Credit Union has served the South Plains community with lower rates and fewer fees for the last 83 years. We're just getting started. Join the mission and enjoy the benefits of owning your financial future. Alliance is for people, not profit. Do you have anything to say to the community, the fans, the Matador faithful, Matador Nation? Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, I mean, this journey's together, everyone together, and it's not over yet. So tomorrow we're going to continue this journey, and hopefully it's not the stopping point. Hopefully there's more to come, and without the Matador Nation, this journey means nothing. So please come out. We appreciate it. They're really the center of this soccer club again, so it means the world for them to come out and enjoy with us.
What's the perfect result on game day tomorrow?
Just a win. Doesn't matter if it's 10-0, 1-0, just 3 points. That's definitive.
10-0 would be awesome, though.
Yeah.
When you think game day, think local first. Cardinals Sports Center, serving Lubbock and the surrounding area for over 75 years. Cardinals is an official retailer for Lubbock Matadors apparel. Luke, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you as always. We'll be right back with more on the Lubbock Matadors Coaches Show, presented by Mears Mazda, with the GM, Dustin McCorkle.
The Lubbock Matadors are all about partnering with local businesses and investing in the community.
Being a local business, it was really important to us, not only to support Dustin and his family, but the Matador Soccer Club.
Three, two, one, ready, ready, set, go. Ready, ready, set, go. Set, go, set, go. 3, 2, 1, ready, ready, set, go. Three, two, one, ready, ready, set, go.
Welcome back. We're with GM extraordinaire Dustin McCorkle. Dustin, I feel like I say this every time, but another show, another win. How important was that playoff win for the Lubbock Matadors?
Yeah, I think we've talked a little bit about it, but for us, it's just another step in the journey that we're able to embrace each moment. Again, we talked about it all throughout the season. This is a little bit unexpected in a year 2 club to perform this way, but from the club standpoint, we are enjoying every minute of the ride, and nothing's guaranteed at this point. But being able to put on a show like that for our fans at our first ever playoff game was magical, and even more special the moments after the game when our players get to celebrate with the youth of this community, getting to hear kids running up to players that they got to have as coaches in the camps. I mean, that's the stuff that, again, I'm a little older than our players now, that I can appreciate as I'm a father, seeing these parents look at their kids light up for these guys, and it's amazing.
Specifically, what a game on Tuesday. Another 5,000-plus crowd, 5,400, I think. Another record. I think that's 3 in a row at home, setting attendance records. Can we hit 6,000 maybe on Saturday night?
That would be the dream. I hope that, I've got to speak a couple of places this week and highlight the Matadors, and there's still a ton of people that have never come to a game. I talked to some people actually yesterday at the Lubbock Chamber who came to their first game on Tuesday. So it's a matter about getting those folks to come try us once, get them connected to what we're doing. And I had a couple people stop me and say, hey, like, we had so much fun in our first game on Tuesday. We plan to be back on Saturday. So we've been really encouraging our season ticket holders, those who do come support us regularly, bring a friend that has never come to the game before, and we'll keep growing this base. And 6,000 at a conference championship game would be magical. I'm not sure if you saw, but U.S. Open Cup tweeted about us yesterday and talking about how special the attendance was. And I saw some comments of how is Lubbock getting those folks here. And hearing Luke speak, I truly believe that's the magic bullet, is the connection to community and these guys caring about Lubbock, Texas, regardless if they're from here or not. I truly believe our players, and that's a tribute to our coach, instilling the culture of what it means to represent us. And I think all these guys don't even realize at times how special their name is, especially Luke Jones. Like, we have a few guys, and there's going to be some special new elements at the game tomorrow that they don't know about yet, but I'm excited to see in the stands. But that's only because of what they've done off the field to give back to our community. So it should be an amazing day on Saturday.
Staying on attendance for just another second, the Mozos president, Ryan Shelburne, put some stats on Twitter this week that I wanted to read and get your comments on. So this is his tweet. I want to put this into perspective for Lubbock. We're in the NPSL, Tier 4 of the soccer, with UPSL and the USL. 5,400, which is the attendance you had on Saturday or Tuesday night, is higher than the average for all of the USL League 1, which is in Tier 3, and more than half of the USL Championship in Tier 2. So how special is that to have an attendance now back-to-back, I should add, that rivals a Tier 2 attendance average?
Yeah, so, I mean, my background, I worked in USL for a couple of years, and I've been consulting in it for 5. So I'm very familiar with the league. Again, when we started this club, this is a foundation that Coach and I discussed on what is our identity on the field, who are we going to be off the field, and it feels really good for the simple fact that there were people that we met with that said soccer will never do well here. And for us to be able to go back to our partners that did say yes to us, that bought into the vision without knowing what this was going to look like, and be able to share how we're competing with pro soccer on attendance numbers is very special. And it's humbling. But again, it doesn't happen if our guys, our club, and our team aren't making this about Lubbock, Texas, not about the Lubbock Matadors. And so, yeah, it's rewarding. I'm getting messages from people in those leagues that are in pro soccer asking, how is this happening for you guys? Like, y'all are a football, basketball, baseball town, and they want the secret sauce, and so it's been fun to share best practices. And again, you talk about who did that tweet come from? That comes from one of our supporters, right? Yeah, I think if you'd ask Luke, when they travel to away games, how many groups do they see, like the Mozos, in the stands at away teams? And I would venture to say it's less than 5 on the most part, if they're even doing it. So for us to have a growing fan base in that way, people that are engaged on socials like they are, this is special for all of us. And again, everybody plays a part, but our supporters group plays a huge part into the fan experience. They're not affiliated with the club. They do this on their own, and I hope that they do that because they see the passion between the front office and the players and coaches, that we are trying to make this special for them.
So I have a question about fan experience, but first I want to ask you personally, do you ever take a moment and just watch the game? I know you're busy. You're running up and down. You probably get 15,000 steps every game. You're going up and down flights of stairs. But do you ever get a moment just to watch the game?
Yeah, it does make me feel better about my post-game meal at Buffalo Wild Wings that I'm able to enjoy some extra mozzarella sticks. But no, I mean, barely. There are moments I have to tell myself to take a second. There's been a few games that I can recall, especially when it's getting really chippy and fiery out on the field, that my instinct as roll with the club where I see our guys fighting and they don't feel like they're getting protected on the field or whatever the situation is, and you want to go out there and yell for them. You want to help support coach and get on to whoever you need to bring the game back in for us and our fans and the guys. But yeah, I try every game to get a few moments where I get to watch something, and part of my favorite experience of the game is actually post game. Like, I get to take Paul and Yuri to Buffalo Wild Wings after every match, and that's 15 minutes that I get alone with coach to talk about stuff that I may have missed on the field, but I get the behind the scenes access to something that I think is really special. And so those are moments that I cherish. But yeah, for the most part, I told Paul this, I think, a couple of games ago. I feel like I'm the host at the largest party in town that night. And my goal is to make sure everybody's having a great time. And, that's what we do working on this side of the job that I feel like people outside looking in don't really think about is this thing isn't successful if I'm not making sure that I'm being a good host to our very large party.
So from a fan experience point of view, would you rather have the 6-0 shellacking or a 2-1 or 1-0 kind of game going down to the wire?
Well, in these elimination games, let's bring on I'm on the 6-0 side of those things. It'd be nice to know that we're continuing on early into the game versus some of the other ones. But soccer and football, it's a special game, and they call it the beautiful game for a reason. I would say some of our most fun matches this year at home have been those very tense games. Your Laredo, your Brownsville, the West Texas FC game wasn't the result we wanted, but man, that crowd was special the entire night. I mean, it was the intensity, the edginess to the fans. It was loud in here the whole time. I told our PA guy, I was like, I don't think anybody's listening to anything you're saying right now. They're not hearing you, because everybody was so involved in a way that we didn't see that sort of participation from the crowd until late in the season last year. We had it from jump because everybody was embracing the rivalry game. So I would say there's been special moments all over, but yeah, man, if Luke could give Ethan maybe a few assists right away on Saturday, I'll take that all day in a conference championship game, knowing that this could be a great thing moving forward, or it could be our last match in front of our fans. So let's take the W the best way we can get it.
Speaking of, regardless of the outcome, when you win, do you get to play here again? Is this something where you can continue at Lubbock Cooper Pirate Stadium?
Yeah, I hope. Are you talking about after the season's over?
Yeah, well, no, just if.
Oh,
this
for post game, yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
in the playoffs, can you continue hosting games?
Yeah, fortunately, Cooper has been an amazing partner for us, and as we started realizing, like, hey, there's potential that we might be hosting playoff games, and then, oh wow, like, we're nationally in the top 5 now. That could mean we're hosting regional playoff games. We addressed that very quickly, and we've saved dates. So yes, we will continue on here through however long we're allowed to play here. Would be amazing to host something really, really big here. But for us, we're playing in the moment, and Saturday's the biggest thing. And, I'm hoping we can guarantee ourselves another 2 games here.
So how does playoff hosting work? Is it the national standings? So if you're higher in the national standings, you host the next matchup?
Yeah, so up until this point, that's again, we're learning as we go and teaching our fans as we go, right? Because we were seeded number 1, won the regular season, we will host everything within the conference here. Now, what these guys have done and what coach has done to put us in the national conversation, after we get out of this round, it will be based on your matchups regionally. So we have regional playoffs next, and whoever's the higher seed hosts. So, we have to thank our players and coaches, because that can get very expensive in the postseason. You obviously want to go on an amazing run, but if you're having to book a flight to Florida 72 hours out for 25 people. That gets very expensive for our clubs because, again, we're not making all the money in the world right away. So in addition to the fact that we will be hosting, hopefully it provides another revenue stream for the club, hosting more and more games. And it's better for our guys, right? Like, we get to go home and sleep in our beds, prepare, train where we're used to training, and now somebody else has to fly to us, figure out where they're going to be practicing leading up to the match, and they're doing all the travel last minute. So what's crazy in our league, and it makes a lot of sense, you do see a lot of these home playoff teams going fairly deep in the playoffs because they have that advantage on their side.
Let's just get crazy for a second. You get past the regionals. Is there an opportunity for neutral site, or is it hosted all the way through?
It's hosted all the way through. So, again, with us finishing number 3 in the nation, until we get seeded up against a number 1 or a number 2, we will continue to host games. And who knows? I mean, anyone at this level, at this stage in the game, can get upset. So we'll see what happens. But, again, our focus is not even on next week yet. We have what I believe is the biggest matchup of the year coming up. I know our guys are ready, prepared, wanting to win. And I do have to throw out, our boy, the Great Wall, Sammy. He's had 4 shutouts this year. If he gets a 5th one, we do have a partner coming up that's willing to donate to a local charity of his choice. So there's a lot of cool things that are happening, and that's all centered around this Saturday.
Hey, Lubbock residents, need roofing solutions you can rely on? Look no further than our trusted local roofing company, Andrews Brothers. They offer top-notch roof repairs, replacements, and installations. With their experienced team and superior craftsmanship, they've got you covered. Don't wait. Call us today at 806-798-7663 for a free estimate. You talk about sponsors. How important have those game sponsors been throughout the season?
Oh, man. Every single one has a special moment for me. We spoke a lot in the offseason with the runway that we had on how we were going to make this different, special for the fans, attaching nonprofits to the game. So there's give back components. They've all been amazing. And, having the head of Pepsi flying in to Lubbock, Texas to check it out when they're partnered with MLS and USL clubs, telling us during the game how special it was watching him record video of 1,000 people waving rally towels in the air, and then all of our local sponsors that participate as well. I mean, if we didn't have them to do this, our game level would not be the same. So we are so grateful for everyone that's been a part of this and continues to raise their hand to step up.
Beyond the sponsors, beyond the home games, this full season has been an incredible ride. We've talked about it with Coach. We talked about it with Luke. Can you put it into perspective yet, or are you just kind of in the middle of it and you need to reflect at the end?
Yeah, man, I've had an emotional roller coaster the last, I would say, 2 weeks of really good moments and really hard moments. I think, fans hopefully don't see the work that goes into Coach's job day in and day out from what are your challenges. Hopefully they see the day in and day out hard work from the players and what they do on the field. But in the front office side too, putting on a game it's a lot of work. Making sure that we're showing up in the community in the right ways, organizing logistics. Not everybody has cars, getting things in place that we need to, making sure everyone's happy. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and it's taxing, but it's so rewarding. And I had hit sort of a wall before last game that was a little challenging for me. And then as soon as we came out the other side of that, I was just like, this is the spark and this is the excitement. This is the stuff that makes it fun. And I'm excited to keep going and bring on as many other games as we can have. It's been a blast.
So what do you hope to see tomorrow night?
I hope that the fans get to see our players give their all. And I know that they will. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. We have so much to be proud of, and I want all of our guys to hang their heads high, humble in victory and proud in defeat, because they've done so much for us in a year 2 situation. And all they have to do is go online and see the comments. All they have to do is listen to the parents and the kids after each game signing autographs to see the impacts that these guys have made. And guys like Luke Jones will have a special place in Lubbock, Texas for as long as he wants it. and hopefully he recognizes that impact just in 2 years he's been here.
Absolutely, and there's players that we talked about it. We talked about with Coach. Fans are learning the names and cheering for certain players and have favorites and fan favorites, and the autographs are growing every week. And I do think that's a special component. What about on the field? Do you have a favorite game this year?
Oh man,
Favorite moment?
I would say, funny enough, like all of our home games are amazing, but I did go to the Midland game, and seeing what I don't know what the other teams do, but to my knowledge, I don't know too many teams that have a sponsor step up and say, hey, I want to send a bus full of fans to another location to go cheer on our team, have a full day of programming, and then listen to people texting me, hey, we're watching the broadcast and we hear the Mozos and our Matador faithful cheering louder than the away team. That was a special day for us, and hopefully the start of something bigger and a tradition year over year for us to make a really special road trip each game. So that was probably one of my most favorite memories this year.
All right, so tomorrow night, 7:30, going to be here. You can get tickets online.
Yeah, so LubbockMatadors.com. We had a lot of people. We had over 3,000 people by the day of on Tuesday. I would love to avoid that last-minute buying from everybody. If you buy today, it's a little bit of a discount versus showing up on game day. So if you don't know that, go to LubbockMatadors.com. You can buy your tickets. As a reminder, 5 o'clock block party. It's going to be a fun day, so get out here early. Come enjoy some music with our DJ, some Two Docs beer. Pepsi's going to have some drinks out there as well. Our food trucks are going to be in attendance. So we're going to have a fun day of food, drinks, and celebration leading up to our conference championship game.
Southwest Bank is here to help make your financial dreams a reality. Whether you're looking to buy a home, start a business, or preparing for retirement, our experts are located right here in Lubbock and will help advise you every step of the way. Learn more about our mortgage, loan, and wealth management services at Southwest Bank. Southwest Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lenders. Is there a trophy tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a special moment. We will have a trophy presentation. We're going to ask everybody to stick around to be a part of it. And I know our guys are going to be working hard to hoist that in front of our crowd. It's actually arriving via plane today. So hopefully we'll be able to get some video content at some point when it lands of what the trophy looks like, what it's about. But it's a special moment. I mean, the league's shipping off a trophy for the Lone Star Conference for 2023, and it's going to be in Lubbock, Texas, and we get to compete for it tomorrow.
All right. Any final comments, final thoughts for the Matador fans?
I think big thing is, as we always do, thank you. We're so grateful for everything that y'all do with how you show up, support. I'm looking forward to seeing some of our fans do some new things tomorrow at the game. The chants, Luke, I don't even know if he's heard it yet. He's got his own chant now. I'll talk to the Moses about putting it in the musical tone that he likes. But it's all of this stuff. It's authentic. It's generating new buzz each and every week. It's amazing to see our news teams show up to all of our games now, wanting to report. We're going to be on My Lubbock TV tomorrow through KCBD, in addition to our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube, go check it out. But just really want to say thank you. And to our players, I have to say, so proud of you guys. And we're really excited to go put on a show tomorrow.
All right, that was another edition of the Lubbock Matadors Coaches Show. As long as the season goes, I guess we'll be here too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll see you then.
The Lubbock Matadors are all about partnering with local businesses and investing in the community. Being a local business, it was really important to us, not only to support Dustin and his family, the Matador Soccer Club.